How can we help public safety personnel cope with the impact of COVID-19 based on the work that we did in the COVID-19 Readiness Resource Project?
In the work that we did in the COVID-19 Readiness Resource Project, where we did a number of things. We reviewed literature that existed around pandemic response and how to help first responders in pandemic situations. We also surveyed and spoke with PSP from across the country and PSP leadership. So from this, we really distilled down a number of strategies that would be very helpful for them. So I'll start with probably the most important, and that was the role of leadership. When we interviewed PSP and asked them what would be most helpful to you as you go through this pandemic experience, the number one answer we received from every one of them was, I need to know my leader has my back. So this was a message that we gave to leadership and said, whatever else you do, and you don't need to have all the answers. What you need to do is you need to be there, be visible where your people can see you, because that just helps both their confidence and their willingness to carry on in their job. Some of the other important techniques and issues that are helpful, strategies that are helpful, were using crisis communication. And again, this was both in terms of how we tried to communicate with PSP frontline people. If they would come and access our website to find, can I get help here? Are there some techniques I can use? Is there something you can tell me? We used really the science of crisis communication, which means what? It means that you communicate key messages in very short form. You make it very clear in very plain language, and that in this communication that it's done, first of all, by a trusted person. So often crisis communication that comes from a leader, or if you think about during COVID-19 writ large for the population, that would come from the chief medical officer or from the prime minister. This was very important, that it's a person, especially a trusted person in a leadership position, who's giving these messages. And that they also encourage questions, because people are always concerned and always have all kinds of questions. It doesn't mean you need to have the answer to every question, but what it means is that you need to listen to their questions, acknowledge that those are important concerns, and say, I'm going to get back to you with an answer to that. I don't know right now. It's a great question. But again, the most important thing really during this type of communication, as I said, for leadership in general, is that people have someone they trust, who they can look to, who they know is going to support them.